Prabhu, kindly come forward and offer Prabhupada on behalf of Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Now we formally start our Vyasa Puja program. We request the Swami to kindly come forward and read the meanings of Vyasa Puja for all of us.
Broken.
Hare Krishna. I just read the order given. Right first, so please forgive me if I speak and think. The celebration of Vyasa Puja is an expression of the gratitude that the disciple feels for the spiritual master, and that feeling becomes reinforced when disciple expresses one's own gratitude and hears the disciples express their gratitude. The spiritual master's guidance and grace are indispensable for elevating and liberating souls caught in this dangerous and treacherous material existence. The spiritual master is non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the sacred scriptures proclaim. Vishnu Bhagavatam in the Uddhava Gita, Acharyamam Vijaniyam, Krishna himself declares that the Acharya is not different from him. This non-difference is not because of a merging of beings, but because of a joining of hearts. The spiritual master is purely and selflessly surrendered to Krishna, as was Arjuna at the end of the Bhagavad Gita. The spiritual master is not just the conveyor of Krishna's will, he is also the gateway to Krishna. On Krishna's behalf, he receives the disciples' service and bestows mercy. Yasya prasada bhagavat prasado, yasya prasada na gati kutopi. By the mercy of the master is the mercy of Krishna accessed. So potent and transformational is the spiritual master's mercy that the sincere disciple feels and remains indebted lifetime after lifetime. The disciple strives to express that gratitude by dedicating one's life to the spiritual master's service. During the course of our life, Vyasa Puja offers us a precious annual opportunity to meditate on and to better appreciate our spiritual master's gifts. In composing our offering to the spiritual master, we go deep into our heart, routines and super facilitates that frequently crowd our consciousness. We focus on that which matters most, the supreme treasure of Krishna, with which the spiritual master has enriched our heart. And by hearing the offerings of the other devotees, we see those devotees with greater appreciation, not just for their functional roles in this world, but also as devoted and exalted souls committed to the spiritual master's service. Vasudeva is the quintessential spiritual master. He is the literary incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By entering the Vedic message in written form, he preserves and propagates that timeless treasure of wisdom. Therein he provides a comprehensive gamut of guidelines for elevating people at all levels. And also given in Srimad Bhagavatam, the ripened fruit of the Vedic literature, the conclusive guidance of true devotion for those seeking life's highest destination, eternal spiritual love for Krishna. All spiritual masters follow in the footsteps of Vyasdeva and carry on his mission. Thus, the spiritual master represents Krishna, specifically Krishna in his manifestation as Vyasdeva. Through the numerous representatives of Vyasdeva over millennia, culminating for us in our spiritual master, we receive the pleasure of Krishna Bhakti. This world is like a quicksand of ignorance, wherein we are not only kept in ignorance of life's spiritual side, but are sucked deeper into that ignorance with the lure of material pleasures. And in the present times, the accumulation of material knowledge creates an illusion of progress that doesn't just lure us into ignorance, but also makes us complacent and ignorant, thus keeping us in ignorance or ignorance. Srila Prabhupada rescued us from this ignorance by sharing generously the timeless spiritual knowledge of the Vedas. And his charity went far beyond offering spiritual knowledge alone. He offered spiritual love for Krishna that was revealed to the world by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this charity of love enabled him to conquer hearts. Chaitanya Bhagavata states that Lord Chaitanya descended to this world to bless it with the garland of Krishna Prema. Srila Prabhupada made that garland manifest by establishing all over the world temples that made loving Krishna intelligible and relishable. The glory of our beloved Gurudev has been recognized not just by his followers but also by secular authorities in both the West and the East. Leading a life of devotion in a world of meditation is undoubtedly difficult, but meditating on the sacrifice of the givers of devotion lessens the difficulty. A child may be reluctant to take a bitter medicine, but if he remembers that his mother has sold or jewelry to pay for that medicine, then contemplating her sacrifice will replace reluctance with gratitude. Similarly, difficulties while practicing and hearing Krishna Bhakti may make us reluctant in our service. But by meditating on Srila Gurudev's innumerable and insurmountable sacrifices and dedication, just for giving us the opportunity to practice bhakti, we can shed our reluctance and face wholeheartedly whatever challenges confront us. Srila Prabhupada conquered the whole by surrendering Krishna. On the Jaladuta, in his celebrating some Makina Bhagavat Dharma, he prayed to Krishna, make me dance, make me a puppet, make me dance according to your will. In the sacred occasion of Srila Gurudev's Vyasa Puja this year, we pray that we too dance for our Gurudev's tunes and songs and instructions and everything. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for reading the Vyasa Puja meaning for all of us. Now we request this Pankivira Prabhu and we come forward and start Vyasa Puja offering now. Followed by we request Radhanath Prabhu to be ready after Pankivira Prabhu's offering is over. Thank you. Towards the end on the left side, Ramakrishna Reddy Prabhu is doing Telugu translation. Anybody who would like to receive the Telugu translation? So with the other neighbor, what is the number? Telugu FM 80.3 and Hindi FM translation is 87.7. Please tune to those FMs to hear the translation of the offerings given by different devotees. Right. Namo Shivaya Krishna Prasthaya Sri Radhanath Swami Maharaj. Shocking movie. I need to give up they told that you should come to stage and I'm not qualified to speak much about Maharaj. But what are the information I have? I need to share some few things.
Little closer.
No,
A little louder.
My first interaction with Gurudev was in years 2005. My first interaction with
Gurudev was in 2005. So Gurudev came to Columbus, Ohio. I was part of the congregation that time. So even I don't know who was Guru also that time, and who was Maharaj also that. But Desha was new, completely new. So I thought really the Iskcon has only one Guru. So when I was studying IIT, I saw Bhagwan Maharaj once. So I was thinking when I went to Columbus temple, I told, I met your Guru. Then they told me, which Guru? I told, how many Gurus you have? You have many. Many? Then I don't know who was that. But I met one Guru. So then, from that one, I decided to join Brahmacharya Ashram in Chowpatty. So I was about to leave in March. But Mataji told me that, if you go back to India, Maharaj will not meet you anytime. You get association in US only. So stay here, take his association and go back. So I stayed back. So Maharaj came on May 1st, 2005, May Day. So before that, I was part of clean David temple and everything ready, and I was thinking, who was this person? And now, before that, many Maharajas came, but it was not so aggressively cleaning and everything happened. But Maharaj and I started everything, very clean. So many people were participating. So who was this? So everyone came, and everyone was doing kirtan and all. Maharaj came and sat down. Everyone paid obeisances, but I didn't pay any obeisances. Just I was standing like this, seeing him. He came. Then the other Maharaj gave lecture. I was saying Krishna about the devotees. Others are all talking to Maharaj. Suddenly they called me. Come. And my name is Dharmaraj. So Dharmaraj, come. So I went. And they told they make me stand in front of Maharaj. And told, he is Dharmaraj, PhD. He is going to join Chowpatty. It's a big loss for us. Also, not a big deal. But Maharaj immediately asked, who? So, in which subject you are doing PhD? That is a simple question. But when Maharaj saw me, I was completely thought that, he is looking fluently. But the X-ray, X-ray only skeleton comes. Please, seeing my feelings inside anarthas, everything. I was thinking, like that, just I was shocked. He was asking me, which subject you are in? I was thinking, my mind became fully blank. So Maharaj said, I thought that is like, he sees our anarthas, our everything. He knows everything, what is inside and outside. So I was thinking, and everyone has come, which subject is it? I was thinking, I could not able to speak anything, just 5 minutes blank. Then Maharaj is laughing. Then I told, and the people are nudging me from that side. I told, material science. And that comes to spiritual science. Because from that time onwards, whenever I go in front of Maharaj, I cannot able to speak. So again, same Deksha initiation day also. Just I was well prepared. Everyone was reading. I thought, I should not read. I prepared, practiced everything. I went there. Dear Gurudev, Maharaj is king. Really, well, everything laughed. So like that. It's a different experience. He sees through beyond our vision. It's completely is a different personality. He knows what is going in our mind and everything. In GB also, whenever we do any good thing, he comes to know that those things. Similarly gives mercy. Otherwise, if I don't do anything much, tangent, I used to stand in front of Maharaj, but Maharaj never used to take that. But when you do something good thing, anything, the Maharaj used to call and embrace. So Guru, many times you get the doubt whether whatever we do in our life or in our things in sadhana, the Guru really knows it or not. He knows. Sometimes we get an opportunity that he will express it to us, get that but sometimes we may not get the chance to know that he knows. But we should not have any doubt in that. Maharaj, Guru as a Guru, he knows everything. Whatever we are doing, whatever is going in our mind. It's not only my many senior devotees have told me. Whenever they have doubt, any doubt, and he sits in the class, he expresses a point at us, right? So something that he sees that person is going on. So that happens many times. So I'm very grateful that Maharaj accepted me as his servant and engaged me in different services. But I upset him many times that he tolerant for is beyond our perception. If you want to know Maharaj really what is tolerant power or his potency to deal stress and all, we should be manager, we can understand. Otherwise, we can't understand. Because manager means we have to either hurt someone or please someone. But he is the one who pleases everyone. That is beyond any manager. So, we cannot fail. And he tolerated and he is still tolerating. So I'm thankful to Maharaj. I pray to Gurudev on this day that please give me the ability to stand and say proudly that I am your disciple. Thank you, Maharaj. Father of Swami Maharaj, please.
Thank you, Tato, for offering your the sloka unprepared, but it is very, very inspiring to all of us. You have let us know through your wonderful experience, very, very special, how to understand Maharaj's mood and Maharaj's way of doing things. Now I request this Niran Prabhu to come. Is Niran here? Please come and take it. Followed by we request Radhanath Prabhu to be here.
So you can come this side. They can't see.
Oh, should I come in this way?
Now, Vishnu Bhagavad Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Lilananda Swami Maharaj. Namaste, Saraswati Devi. Vishesh Srimati. Hare Krishna.
So unqualified, unprepared, I was asked to give an offering. So I'll try my best. Honestly speaking, whatever interaction I had with Maharaj, I mean, like I was always speechless. I didn't know what to speak. Last we saw him was in when we went to GV and we are coming back to Chapati temple, and he suddenly appeared during the afternoon aarti. And me and my wife, we were both like completely dumbstruck. We didn't know what to speak for 5 minutes. He kept on. He just came there. I mean, like had my child, and like patted on my back, and he went back, and we were both dumbstruck. We didn't know what to do or what to say. I personally I came from Pune. I mean, like a few years back when I shifted, that was like a sea of devotees. Honestly, I just wanted to tell that incident and the impact that I had because of Maharaj. Like he actually saved us, of course, to his disciples, and we came out of this animal life, and somehow able to survive here. And when we shifted from Pune, it was like coming from the sea of devotees, and I felt lost. Like I didn't know anybody, and I didn't know what to do. And that was around that time when I read the book called Journey Within. And in Journey Within, there was an incident of a woman which comes, where the woman finally, she's thrown away from entire family, and she's sitting in a with her small child. And then she sees a branch hanging from the top, and she decides that, okay, if I have a shelter, then let me try to give shelter to others. And that instruction struck me so much. I mean, I decided, okay, fine, let me do something if I don't have association. So really, I mean, like Maharaj saved us so much. I cannot tell you, like we are able to survive in our bhakti just because of his mercy. And yeah, this time, I mean, the only thing that I can think of is like the song from the Bhakti Vinod Thakur's, which comes to my mind is like that Gurudev, please just give me a drop of your mercy. Like I'm like really smaller than a drop of grass, and I don't deserve to be whatever even a tiny bit of respect or anything I deserve. But have mercy on me, and thank you everyone for allowing me to speak there. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, I request the Sastra Prabhu and come on the
Lord Shubhodaya Krishna Srimati Radhanath Swami Maharaj. So I feel very fortunate to get this opportunity. So for me, my connection with Maharaj is through Vani. So whenever I hear lectures of Maharaj, I feel very much connected. So I would like to just share some of the points from various lectures which really touch my heart. Like Maharaj regularly speaks about gratitude. Like he says that if you are grateful, you can always be happy, right? And if you are not grateful, you will be frustrated. So it is so much relevant in many situations when we go through ups and downs in our life. If you apply this principle, it is very much helpful. So I remember once when I was in very difficult situation. So I was completely frustrated and upset also that why it is happening like this. So I thought that in this situation, what should I do? So I was searching for some lectures of Maharaj on overcoming difficulties. So in one lecture, Maharaj was telling about Prahlad Maharaj. And he was telling that how Prahlad Maharaj was kept in so many difficult situations, like he was thrown from hilltops, he was attacked by weapons and all those things. And he was telling that how, in spite of all that, he is not affected. Then after that, Maharaj was telling that, we are not thrown from hilltops, we are not attacked by weapons, no, we are not kept in pit of snakes. So when Maharaj was actually telling all this, I actually felt that he was telling me, like, are you kept in pit of snakes, not like that. So then actually I felt so much relief from that problem. I felt that
the problem from a mountain became like a sand particle, completely insignificant. So I felt so much relieved and connected. So Maharaj also was telling in many of the instructions that actually whenever we hear lectures, we should take it personally. Many people ask that Maharaj, please give some personal instructions. But Maharaj says my instructions are through my lectures. So my realization is that if we take the instructions of Maharaj personally into our heart, like as if Maharaj, this is actually Maharaj's love for us. So we should take it very personally to our heart and sincerely try to apply. And actually we will feel so much connected with Maharaj and get elevated in our Krishna consciousness. Thank you very much. As always, Radhanath Swami Maharaj.
Thank you, Dr. Guru, for letting us know about Maharaj's instructions, all in their lectures. Now we request is this Dastas Guru kindly come forward and offer garland to welcome this Iskcon Guru to this wonderful video after the sermon. Welcome, Prabhuji, by loud chanting. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Now request Mr. Mohan Krishna Prabhu kindly come forward and offer garland of welcome to Radhanath Prabhu. Let's all welcome Radhanath Prabhu by loud chanting. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! And we request this Radhanath Prabhu to
Oh,
request Radhanath Prabhu to kindly come and read the offering to Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Bhutale Shrimate Radhanath Swami Maharaj. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Panchakalpatarubhyascha Palitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today we are celebrating the most auspicious appearance of the Radhanath Maharaj. On the day of Guru's appearance, one thing that the disciple remembers very fondly and gratefully is all the gifts that one has received from the spiritual master. And the disciple also should regret or lament about not having accepted the mercy that is being awarded abundantly due to our distraction arising from various material livings. And also, it gives us opportunity to take a survey of how did we spend last 1 year, the coming year more fruitful in terms of awakening our relationship with the Guru and making that bond more purer and more stronger. Why am I saying more purer? Our intention in approaching the spiritual master is not for just some material blessings, but for purifying our heart and making spiritual advancement. In the modern times, life has become so fast, very likely that sometimes we may not get to regularly hear the recordings of the spiritual master, lectures of spiritual master. And our relationship can become very remote and it may just remain official, which is a very bad thing to happen. So, Prabhupada said, the spiritual master lives in his sound vibration and the follower lives with him. So, always the warning of the spiritual master during his personal presence in the planet and even after that, it's always something that the disciple should hold on to. Sometimes my senior God brothers tell me that don't tell your past that you had with Maharaj very closely because that will create a greed in the heart of other devotees. That we also want to have personal interaction with Maharaj. So sometimes people tell me like that. But at the same time, when we narrate some of the pastimes that we encountered in spiritual master, that also kindles more affection for the spiritual master in the hearts of everybody. So therefore I felt like sharing some of the things that I personally observed in Maharaj. One time, Radhanath Maharaj was in Calcutta and he was going around. So one husband and wife, pretty very elderly, husband maybe probably 75 or 80 I think, and wife will be 5 years lesser. They were from abroad. Currently they are in India. So they saw Maharaj and before the palms they wanted to thank Maharaj. So that Mataji was telling, Maharaj, how wonderful it is that I have met you today. Today morning only I completed the journey home book. I just finished the journey home book and I was praying to Krishna, when will I get to see this personality? And now here I am seeing you. I am very grateful to you for putting this beautiful book for us. And Maharaj said, I am grateful to you for reading it. And Maharaj said, my humble experience, whatever came, I put it all together in the form of a book, and you have taken out the time to read it. I am grateful. So I always observed Maharaj is very intelligent and turning over any glorification that may come upon him. One time, Gaurvani Prabhu, you all know Gaurvani Prabhu. So he was taking a very important role along with many other Congress devotees and all in putting up one launch for it. He did kirtan and all that also. So next day morning, Maharaj gave a Srimad Bhagavatam class. So God for all of us, you are the real star. And we were watching after the program was over, everybody came to you to take signature. More than 200 people. And every one of them was very, very great millionaires. And but they waited in the queue for a long time to take your autograph. So everybody was centered around on you. You are the real star yesterday. Maharaj said, I may be a star, but you are moon. He said, because you know the name of the group? Now, what is the name of the group?
10 million moons.
10 million moons. Maharaj said, you are not just one moon, you are 10 million moons. And the Lord didn't know what to say after that. Maharaj defeated him with love by saying that you are 10 million moons. I can't start with your 10 million moons. Also, Maharaj had a very pleasant sense of wit and humor. Whenever anybody said anything, he will play with the words. One time, one devotee came and told Maharaj, Maharaj, I am from Germany, he said. Are there many germs in Germany? And the devotee didn't know what to say. And then Maharaj said, which direction all germs will be gone. So, another time, one elderly gentleman was very much struggling to meet Maharaj after the Sunday feast program. Everybody was pushing him. But somehow some youngsters helped him to come in front of Maharaj, and then Maharaj, he said, because many of the elderly people use such words like this. He said, Maharaj, you are a Siddha Purusha. You have attained Krishnality, you are a Siddha Purusha. Maharaj said, I am not a Siddha Purusha, I am a Siddhi Purusha. I am living in Bombay city. So he made a comment very light talking. One time Maharaj was telling us that life becomes so busy for us, one after another, so many meetings. So, and then he had made a plan to take out 1 week break and go to Haridwar. And just Maharaj and his servant, only 2 of them went. And Maharaj went to the Ganges and sat on the top of a rock. And I heard that from early morning till noon he would chant. And the sun goes to the sky. It's also probably 6 around he used to chant it daily for a week, like that daily. So he would take bath and then chant and come back and take lunch, and then he was with himself without any other disturbance. When he came back to Bombay, he gave Sunday feast class. One fellow immediately came running to Maharaj and showed one photo to Maharaj. Maharaj, you know very well, last 1 week you were in Haridwar, and we have got your photo. You sitting on the rock in Ganges and you are chanting the holy name. Maharaj said, my lord, this also they have captured. Why you guys are trying to make me a rock star? I am simply a beggar. I am sitting on the rock and just chanting. Even that you guys are capturing. So Maharaj had a very good sense of humor. This is one side of his personality. Another very well-known side of Maharaj's personality is he's an emotional genius. He always will say the right thing at like we say, that momentous hour when one feels very vulnerable. Maharaj knows how to speak the right thing. Like one time, I don't want to take the name of the devotee in Bombay, post Janmashtami, 1 week later, Maharaj was sitting with some senior devotees in his room. And then he was asking everybody, tell me your Janmashtami experience. And everybody was telling how wonderful Janmashtami went. So he was speaking. So one of the devotees said, Maharaj, Janmashtami was best. So wonderful. It was first class, he said. That's all he said. He didn't say anything more than that. But somehow that devotee felt very guilty. And after the meeting was over, devotees all discussed. Again, another person, there was another meeting with Maharaj. So this devotee came to tell Maharaj that he was weeping actually practically. One should not speak lies to one's spiritual master. I told you a lie in the morning. What was that? He said, Maharaj, I said Janmashtami was first class. But actually on the day of Janmashtami I was not here in the temple. He said, I had to be at home because my grandparents were very, very elderly. They were terribly sick. And I had to be at home on that day. Although I was very much lamenting that I am missing to be in the temple. But when you asked in front of everybody, I didn't want my image to be spoiled. Everybody will think that Janmashtami didn't come. So that's what I said it was first class. And I better thought let me admit the truth. And Maharaj, at the time also there were 5-6 devotees in the room. Maharaj said, no, you were very much there for Janmashtami. No, Maharaj, I was not there. He said, no, you were there. Maharaj, I am myself telling I was not there. Maharaj said, yes, you were there in Janmashtami. Very much longing to be in the temple. That is as good as being in the temple. And that devotee burst into tears. He was very happy. So, this is Maharaj's style of dealing with devotees. Many times he, according to Maharaj, defeating somebody means defeating through love. Actually, generally in this world, people defeat through false ego. Everybody tries to twist the ego of one another in this world, and that becomes a very painful thing. In our school days, our teacher put one balloon behind everybody and gave a needle to all of them. Guess what? After that, everybody started going behind everybody and breaking. Pan was breaking. And the madam shouted and said, I never told you guys to break. Why did you do that? And one boy was saying, Madam, what to do? You gave us a needle. This is the best thing you could do. So everyone is breaking everyone's popsicle, hurting one another. That's what she was telling also. But Maharaj's way of dealing with devotees is much dramatically opposite. One of his god brothers had come, very shy god brother. Maharaj made him sit and then he was glorifying him for like 5-6 minutes. And the god said, Maharaj, you are embarrassing me. He said. Maharaj said, if you are feeling embarrassed by my glorification, that's the perfection of my glorification. So, actually, I was fortunate to witness some moments like this here and there whenever I met Maharaj. And sometimes there are many little snippets I got from Maharaj which I spoke in my earlier recordings. In the master who came to me, they have spoken many. But many of them are actually management related, dealing with devotees, dealing with outside world, many things. Maharaj had spoken, I had spoken those things. So today I was telling you about a little bit about Maharaj's humor and Maharaj being emotional genius. One more thing comes to my mind about Maharaj being emotional genius. You see, he is very sensitive in terms of being empathic to others. In one Srimad Bhagavatam class, one lady raised her hand and asked Maharaj, Maharaj, why Jagannath doesn't eat carrots? Like that she asked her. And Maharaj asked her, do you eat carrots? He asked. She said, no, Maharaj, we are Jains. We don't eat things which are grown underground like potato and we don't eat. And immediately Maharaj answered, Jagannath doesn't eat carrots because so that he can attract Jain devotees like you. This way, Maharaj had Maharaj would at the appropriate time he would say in a befitting manner and the devotee will get very inspired. I was in Calcutta for one youth festival which Maharaj gave. So it was open pandal in Gurusade building. After the program was over, some 5-6 devotees, surrounding one gentleman, they brought him very big VIP man. They brought him. And then they told Maharaj, this is the #1 champion chess we have brought here for your lecture today. And we have already given him your journey home book and he has completed it also. So he wanted to see you one-on-one personally, so we have brought you. So then when he was brought to Maharaj, so he was a young boy. Looked at Maharaj and said, Swamiji, you say you were born in America and as a 19-year-old boy you came to India. I am really surprised. We Indians are not so, serious about God and especially Krishna and everything. And how is it that you became attracted to Krishna? This is a big surprise to me. You are born in America. How Krishna attracted you? Yeah. And Maharaj said, when I came to India in search of God, your Krishna attracted me. So Maharaj spoke in his language because chess champion knows about what? He said Krishna was so attractive I could not return to America. I stayed in India only. And that's all he spoke to him. After that, the champion was so impressed. He was very thrilled that he told that. Such a beautiful meeting. Generally, many times when we meet somebody, we sometimes fear and worry that I have to give 1 hour, 2 hours correction. But Maharaj, even a brief time that he gives, the exchange is very pronounced and very memorable for a long time. That is one of his very great expertise. So many encounters can be spoken, but I want to, today we have a very special personality with us, is Grace Krishna Chandra Guru. So I want to give a brief introduction to Krishna Chandra Guru. You see, when I was going to Chopad temple in 1991, since the time I have been watching Prabhuji, here is a little formal introduction also I want to tell you a little bit. You know, he is the chairman and chief executive of the Arvind Maharaj group of companies. See, his father Arvind Maharaj is a very, very pious person, is Rama Bhakta. In that village, I came to know thousands and thousands of people are employed by him. At the same time, besides the Ram Mandir, worship of Rama, the Varnashrama, what we are talking about now, his father is somebody who has literally practically instituted it. Nobody needs to go out of the village. And Gaurang Prabhu and Radhanath Maharaj used to tell a lot about his father's service also, Arvind Maharaj. So, you all know that Maharaj Industries Limited and Rubber Chemicals No Sil Limited. So, many businesses, textiles. He has an honors degree in commerce from Sidnam College, Mumbai. In 1993, he went for advanced management program at the Harvard Business School, USA. And he is also one of the past presidents and managing committee member of the Mill Owners Association, Mumbai. And he was a member of the board of governors of IIM, Ahmedabad for 12 years, 1995 to 2007. And the vice chairman of the Cotton Textiles Export Promotion Council also. So, this way there are very many other such kinds of things mentioned. Needless to say, we can add a lot of lists to that. And when it was 1980 or so, one time, his Holiness Giriraj Maharaj, as you all know, he was a fundraiser in Bombay, he and Maharaj Maharaj. So Giriraj Maharaj had gone to make him a life member. So he was waiting outside his office for quite some time. And then Prabhu came out, Maharaj met him. And Prabhu felt sympathy that this monk has been waiting for quite some time. I attended to him. So I attended to him, spoke to him. And then eventually he made him life member. And then over a period of time in 1985, also His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj started coming to India. And because Iskcon Swami Bhaktipal in New Vrindavan, he wanted Radhanath Swami to go and give support to the Lady North Court, which was the orphanage was there, and that area there is the Grand Road Chapati Temple, Sri Radha Gopinath Temple for that. So Maharaj was coming, but in those days Maharaj would be like, he would play very low key because he was not playing the role of a spiritual master. He was just a sannyasi who was like visiting sannyasi who comes to give some lectures and personally inspire the devotees and go back to America. It was like that. And 86 onwards, Maharaj started spending more time in India. At that time, Maharaj often used to tell us there are two families Maharaj very much opposed to. One is Krishna Chandra Prabhu's family and Srinath Prabhu's family. So, Radhanath Maharaj, if you just ask him about Krishna Chandra Prabhu, he can speak hours and hours about this family. What kind of support these two families have given him and even his parents, Radhanath Maharaj's mother and father. If they took the Krishna consciousness seriously, it's because of this type, the kind of personalized care Krishna Prabhu and family they all gave them. So, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj adopted the Sanatana Dharma path so wholeheartedly that his mother wanted her body to be not put in a coffin, but burned and then the ashes should be mixed to the Ganges. That means they accepted the Sanatana Dharma path wholeheartedly. The parents can see that. So, Maharaj actually had these two wonderful families, and then over a period of time, through them, the whole Chopati community emerged. By that, varieties of ideas and plans. There was one orphanage there for the children in that property. There was also Bola classes. The children used to come from the Tinkerbell school. And the hall which you see, the Sri Radha Gopinath Temple, that was like a cricket ground. Children would play cricket there. So, little by little, Krishna Chandra they planned how to purchase all this property. They purchased bits. Finally, you see what we have today over the years. In Bombay, 1 square inch is like a gold or diamond. Very, very costly in Bombay. So, Like for example, a small place would be like a crores there in Bombay. So not only they purchased property, they wholeheartedly embraced Krishna consciousness as taught by Maharaj. They put many programs for Maharaj. And he had a bungalow in Pune. He used to call it as Mahatma bungalow. That's the place where the Pune Yatra started. I started joining the Pune Yatra from 92, I think. Which year it actually started? 89? 86 it started. Few 30, 40 devotees must have started in the early days. Yeah. When I came, it was probably 300, I think, 91. Yeah. And 93, 94 onwards, the congregation started swelling in Bombay in a very big way. So, Prabhu, in the early day, whatever Maharaj wanted, Maharaj executed through him. For example, the consular system in Bombay. 93 was the year Maharaj instituted because the crowd was building up at that time. Maharaj would call him and personally talk to him, and then they would put it all down. Even the Grihastha manual you all see, right? Those are all lectures where Maharaj has spoken and told them to put it down in writing, type it, and then Maharaj would see it, and then now it's floated as a manual for all of us. Similarly, Vaishnava ticket manual, the Grihastha manual, this way. And organizing this Pune Yatra, which was a 3-day Yatra, over the years the crowd started selling beyond 4,000, 5,000, became unmanageable after that. After some years it was stopped. But Maharaj used to very much glorify Prabhu and his good wife for being the host of that event in Pune. Welcoming, opening the doors for 1,000 devotees, there's about 4,000 devotees. And feeding them on prasadam, organizing it months ahead. They would plan. Similarly, yatras also, in planning of the yatras. And these are all things which I'm telling you are the activities he did, but for me, what touches my heart the most about Krishna Prabhu is he is a very, very faithfully practicing devotee in the Grihastha ashrama. And many marriages have been conducted in Bombay, which were actually the main hand is Krishna Prabhu's hand because of his maturity in dealing with different people and matching and bringing them on. Similarly, some of the most tough difficult situations in Bombay, when you might come to Maharaj, Maharaj will depend on him. Similarly, when Maharaj will bring some very esteemed guests, like Edwards and other people, and the first person that will come to Maharaj's mind is Krishna Prabhu. They would immediately call and tell him, one very, very special guest is coming. I can only hand him over to you. I am very sure he will take care very nicely. And the kind of experience Radhanath Prabhu they would give, and guests will never forget. For life they will remember it. So he is very expert in empathic connection with people. He exactly knows what they need, and he's a person who thinks from the heart how to please the other person. Always things like that, things in terms of that. And because of closely associating with Maharaj, he has become a vehicle of tremendous amount of Maharaj's mercy. He carries that with him always. And I will just tell you one or two examples. One time, he was about to enter the Grand Road, Chowpai Temple gate. In those days, they had made this new screening device in Chowpai Temple because crowd had built up. And let us have a screening device. And everybody has to stand there and they check also. Like in airport, they check. Right? So when Prabhu came, they checked him out. So one devotee from Brahmachari became angry. He shouted at the watchman, "Hey, do you know whom are you checking? This person is running the whole temple. He's bringing crores of rupees to run this temple. He's the host here. He's not a guest." And Prabhu said, why do you say like that? If this is a system, everybody has to be checked. I am also one of the devotees. I don't mind being checked. So that is the standard. The driver who was driving him to the temple, he became an initiated devotee. And we have had so many programs of Maharaj in his home. Many times in the drama student in Bombay, when we have drama participants, Maharaj will say, "Let us have it at Krishna Prabhu's house." It's very close to the Chowpai temple, and Maharaj will always like to. Maharaj even loves Prabhu's small children so much, his daughter, and Maharaj loves them so much. So this family is very, very close to Maharaj. One time there was a recession and business crashed. So Krishna Prabhu came to meet Maharaj. Maharaj asked, so how is the business now? He said, Maharaj not in good shape now. There is a very great crisis going on market. I'm not sure things may get better or things may go down. Although he would say such things, in his face he will always have a smile because he was so detached, like we say, but like Maharaj, no? He said, so and then he told Maharaj, Maharaj, in case everything flops in business, you can tell the brahmacharis to keep on corner for me in the ashram, I can also come. This is the way he would talk. You can see he was so detached. So Krishna Prabhu's association is extremely rare for us. Whenever he would give Bhagavatam class, a lot of devotees would want to hear because all the teachings and pure principles of Prabhupada Radhanath Maharaj, the distilled essence, you can get it in his classes. In case you didn't hear the previous classes, you can test my statement by going back to the YouTube and check the Chowpatty classes what Prabhupada speaks. You will bring out such amazing points from Maharaj's life, Maharaj's teachings, and a very humble soul. And I am very confident that because of this close association with Maharaj, he has captured the spirit of Maharaj. And Maharaj always used to tell ideal transformation, they should be like Krishna and other parents. So here they are today, and he always is there with us. So he's super busy, always. He has a lot of things to do. Internationally, many devotees connect with him for help because they know that he is like Radhanath Swami Maharaj's right hand, many people catch him. Also, he has his business. There's so many things to do, but he's taken his valuable time. Let us stand for Mahamantra and welcome Krishna and Chandra Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Prabhu ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Radhanath Prabhu, for giving us the brief introduction to Krishna Prabhu. Now, all of us we are eager to hear from Krishna Prabhu. We request Krishna Prabhu to kindly come and speak wonderful understanding the lessons.
Om Agyan Piran Vistagan Janashakti Chakshu Mudizam Jinu Asmi Govenu Namo Krishna Radhanath Swami Maharaj Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prasad Vishesh Shunyavadi Ashat. I can spend the whole next hour and a half countering this Radhesham. But I love him so much, and more than that, I respect and honor him so much that I don't think I should. So I know his intention is always to encourage me. And I'm here also because, partly also because I see that there's any way I can help, and I don't know what ways I can help, but others may know. There is a position in society which has just come by birth. So devotees, if they can use it anyway, and I'm very happy, and I'm just simply always in awe of how he expands himself into so many places, how many devotees are influenced by him. I'm very honored and really happy and excited to be with you all. Generally, I'm very reticent to give classes because I don't read so much. So then I have to prepare, then I have to spend a lot of time. At least I need a few days to start collecting my thoughts and all that. But this subject matter is something, it's so sweet. So naturally, and we heard so many wonderful pastimes of Maharaj also. So I'll attempt to take some of the qualities that we all see and know about him and try to give some personal examples. In the sense of the example that we have either seen or heard. So, the general statement, I say, Radhanath Maharaj is, there is a confluence of some extraordinary qualities which come together. So one can say a person is visionary, which he is. But then you can find that in business also, people who may have, but they don't have any other characteristics. So he's combines, long-term vision, 100% surrender to Srila Prabhupada. That's his only life. And there's so many examples of where he had to make momentary decisions and he would do it only on the basis that what would please Prabhupada. Combining it with a very, very extremely sensitive to other people's feelings, anyone, and combining with an amazing intelligence which has come to his purity and sharp observations. As you've seen in his book, you see how does his memory is phenomenal. He remembers the smallest details, but then his observations about people's movements, psychology, and from that, combining with his feeling to help others and his own purity, then allows him to make an amazing decision, which is is always right. So, if you start first with some of the visionary areas. So at the beginning, when we started in 1986 or 87, and we had to move because of circumstances, it was almost overnight, and Srinaji Prabhu and my father were really helped to get us entry into Lady Oxford in the orphanage. So, we were used to the Juhu's pattern because that was the only experience we had. And in Juhu, it was normal that the brahmacharis would be in the main committees, fundraising, etc. And we would be there to hear classes and then help as a donation and so on. So he, within the initial periods only, he made this very clear clarity that I don't want brahmacharis to be associated with fundraising. That he tightened the whole morning program, which was very, very loose. So this is after Govind Prabhu came first, and then the others, Radha Gopinath Prabhu, Swami Maharaj, Sanatana Prabhu. In between 88 and 90 when they came, then Maharaj started implementing. So it was like we couldn't put the pattern together, but we can now see that he invested so much effort into the ashram. Really, he was staying there even in spite of having it was a very awful situation because physically the place was very dilapidated. We cannot even describe how bad it was. I just give one example. We were sharing this, there was only one common toilet which was down where the 50 Lady Northcote orphans which was used, public use and anyone else who came in. Just a common one. That was all. And so many times, the gutters would overflow, and if you want to go there, ankle deep of urine also would be there. And there is a place where all these brahmacharis had to stay there. So it was amazing how they managed to remain in that. It took a long time before renovations took place. So Maharaj is clear that the brahmacharis should be true to their ashram. They should be having a very strong morning program. And then there's philosophy tests and other things started coming in. And then he involved the grihasthas that you all should, especially in the finance and broad administration, but in conjunction with the brahmacharis. So when I see that, it is amazing. In a way, you can say we got trapped into it because we were very comfortable for us. That we come there, we have, we like to hear the philosophy. We would like to donate whatever we can, but then it was like compartmenting. And here Maharaj gradually brought it such a way we couldn't say no, and we couldn't see the big picture. I mean, before we knew it, we were into it over the next 4, 5, 6 years. And when I say we means there were many families who were by that time. So that was this amazing approach that he took. Then he said, I want 7 days a week congregation preaching. So he wanted to go and preach. There were no other preachers. So every day he wanted a program. Now, there was Sadhya Prabhu's house, Mahaprabhu's house, there was one Vidut Prabhu and Sinaji Prabhu, then Vishaka Premataji's father, Abhay Charan Prabhu, there were about 8 or 9. So it was like rotating, and then our house. So the programs we call our relatives and friends, maybe 30 people, 25, 30 people. And we didn't know the etiquette. That was Maharaj's humility that he didn't even, because we were actually outside Iskcon by that time. There was a period when we were outside Iskcon, so we had no understanding of how we should greet him. And he was a sannyasi, technically, and he was like a, officially he was like a link between us and our guru. But in spirit, he became our guru over time. So he would sit down, okay, there was something underneath to put, that's all. And a garlic, but it was like, just very, very comfortably, and we had to understand. He accepted and he was very happy. But what happened in those preaching programs, so he would have a standard 15-20 minutes kirtan, he would then talk about for an hour or so. And then in the question answers, the families used to get involved. So it was the first time actually, because again, in our experience in Juhu, is my experience. So in my mentality was that, mostly the Matajis are there to at home, they're there to help whenever we need. If there's a program, then they do. Mostly in the background, they're happily there. He started talking to whoever was in the room, and you know how he talks, he deliberate on each person, makes eye contact, the small children. So there are only about 20, 25 people. And that's how the connection became very strong, because in anyone, imagine having that kind of a relationship, talking with him. So he brought the families really into it. And everyone got very excited, and then they wanted to bring their families, and then that's how the conversation started. But every single day he would want to go. So 7 days a week, I must be somewhere. But there was no other preachers, he was the only one who was preaching. Because, as I said, Guru came in 88, so in the first 3-4 years, it was only him, and just going and meeting people. Then we had also a part of this vision that, we felt that Juhus has life members, and they have, many life members stay in South Mumbai, very near our temple. So we said, why don't we also have a life membership program? Because then it will not be very expensive. They can be here and they can also be there. So from the very beginning, Maharaj said no. And after some years, we again asked him, he said no. 3 times we asked him, and he was very clear. He made it very clear. He said, Juhu is our big brother, we are a small brother. We don't want any conflict or controversy. We should inspire people. And when people get inspired, they give. And if you see, that has been, have you ever heard him ask for funds anytime? I mean, it's beyond him. He doesn't, and his relationship doesn't change with whether the person gives or not. So his whole emphasis was on if people get inspired, they'll give. So he was very, very clear that he built the whole temple on the basis that let people get inspired, when they feel committed, then they will want to give something. We should not have any membership program. Of course, there's a counselor system. Maharaj tried, along with his vision, he had a lot of patience, because many things took a lot of time. And counselor system, Maharaj tried 3 different times and it failed. He started in 1990. He used to go back and come back, and again it was just fizzled off because none of us took it seriously. And the 3rd or 4th time, he really spent time and he emphasized, and then he really got it going. And that is a background to it, because it just shows, I was quoting His Holiness Satchidanand Maharaj as to how Maharaj came to this counselor system thinking. And Satchidanand Maharaj had a dialogue with Radhanath Maharaj maybe 15-20 years ago. He put it on a mail. So Radhanath Maharaj was telling him, when Satchidanand Maharaj asked him, how did you start a community? So he said that, he gave an example in Dallas. Radhanath Maharaj, he met a person there who was coming to the temple for 20 years. But that person was coming to the temple, but he never made any long-term commitment to the temple. So Maharaj asked him, why don't you make a long-term, why are you in that position? There are some who will be coming for darshan, they go back, then they are where they are. So that person told him that I have seen for all these years how you treat your members, and I've seen how you treat your guests, and I want to be a permanent guest. So Maharaj has said that enthusiasm we make people come. Okay, now we have to look at new people. We don't look at the emotional connect and which Maharaj brought in. So his long-term thinking was that we have to get these people, get how to we put attention to those who have just come to the temple. It's not that we just attract them to come, and once they've come, then we feel that okay, now they've become, they don't need any attention. It's, so he was very clear about it. And what he told Satchidananda Maharaj is that actually philosophy comes later. First, to be like these people. When he sees others, and he says, I want to be like them, and I want to spend more time with them, and gradually get connected to them. So that's how he brought that background, and then he started the consular system. So that is one that even in yatras, we have all been to yatras. Pune is a short term, it's a different purpose, and then the Kartik yatras. Again, it started and we've been going there. But if you see, it's now almost 35 years then the Kartik Yatra has been going. Only later on it became clear what his plan was, or purpose was. That it was involving families. It was also giving opportunities to serve. It was also strengthening our spiritual base and connection. It was also a very nice time vacation for 10-15 days, like a spiritual vacation as well. So there were so many purposes, and then also it was breaking socio-economic barriers because we were all together. You know, we were sitting in a bus, prasad, train, etc. It didn't matter like in the temple. It doesn't matter where we come from. So Maharaj's vision was to bring this together, how people can get connected. Similarly, in the marriage board also, his long-term thinking was, that we should only assist. When he set up the marriage board, when he asked people to set up. So, and actually I am not involved so much, and it has always been some active member, but at least I was there when he gave the guidelines. And even that is very revealing. From the very first day, he gave some clear instructions. He said, this has to be, one thing said that the parents' approval must be there. He said you cannot. He said don't try to, because you're a relatively senior, so some young boys and girls come and they say, Prabhuji, whatever you say, what will you tell me? They'll ask you. He said they ask me. I will never say. I say you have to decide. You ask me, this boy is good or this girl what is saying. Yes, he's a serious devotee, but ultimately you have to meet. So he told us, you do not take a decision. Absolutely not. You can be facilitating that. If they're not clear, you can help them to ask the right questions, you can help them to meet 2-3 times. So he was very clear on that because he knows the social issues, and like your families do get involved. Obviously. So he was very, it's amazing when you look back and then you realize how he was so clear about it. One example I give you that in maybe early 90s, there was a Muslim girl, she was coming in the temple and became very serious and chanting 16 rounds, and then she gave her name in the marriage board. So we were very excited, I said, wow, this like as if some big breakthrough has happened. So I went to Maharaj, and that time we could go to Maharaj and talk to him about it. So Maharaj looked and he said, she has to get a parent's permission. Maharaj, this is impossible, the parents are not going to give permission. Said, no, absolutely not. I said, Maharaj, she's so serious, her life is at stake, etc., etc. Maharaj made a statement which is really took us completely by surprise at that time. He said, I'm not going to risk one case and have communal riots at the gate and this Prabhupada's movement. Very clear. And he was not being very, it's a very strong statement, but it was very, so when I told earlier that Prabhupada, what can serve Prabhupada was always opposed. He was very clear, he said, and he was right, because ultimately the girl's parents, the father was not happy at all, he come to the temple, but he was very happy after meeting Maharaj. So Maharaj was very clear, I think, you can't just be sentimental about one or two things. Longer term repercussions, it's just starting this, rather coconut is not spreading. So he immediately brought the whole perspective in mind. So that is his kind of vision. And his patience, I will see how when he gives class also, develops it, over time. He doesn't rush. Everything, even his thinking process, even his speaking, and he doesn't miss the point. He will generally come to the point, but he will develop it and he will bring it to the right at the right time. So his timing is extremely impeccable. Even at the starting of Bhaktivedanta Hospital, it was very controversial in the beginning because people think that within Iskcon also they were saying it is so much like philanthropy and so on. But when the doctors came, initially, Dwarkadish Prabhu, Madan Prabhu, Vishnu Prabhu, Vaishnav Prabhu, Giriraj Prabhu, these are the main ones in the beginning. So in the beginning time, they were all thinking that we would, in the early mid-80s, they said, no, we'll become brahmacharis. And then there were some other Matajis who said, no, we'll become brahmacharinis. That was the idealistic thinking. It was clearly, they were all, we talk about 20, 22, 23 years old, they were still studying for the MBBS. And Maharaj was one said, you can do so much for your own profession. So ultimately the goal is to help people in their Krishna consciousness. So he started giving that, and they got the confidence, then they got married, and then they started having a polyclinic, etc. So Maharaj never lost sight of the long-term side. And also his sensitivity we talked about, how sensitive he is on the smallest things. We had the honor of having Maharaj several times in our house, especially in the earlier days when he used to stay overnight. And believe me, next day, if you see, you will not see that anybody has actually come into the room. He will himself make the bed. And it is absolutely as if nobody has entered the room. Now, he doesn't have to do it, he's the guest. But you can't do anything because he comes, so that's his, he doesn't want to, because he's been, the way he has stayed in the Himalayas and in all these different gurus. So, personally, his habits would be very clean, but he would also want to see that I don't want to give any trouble to someone, that it is nice. Once we were in Bhaktivedanta Hospital, and there's an example of the stress, how he understands other people. So he defined it very nicely. His Holiness Barsana Maharaj, he's from New Vrindavan, and very senior devotee, wonderful Chaitanya Charitamrita storyteller, one of the best ones you've heard. So he was under a lot of pressure and he under a lot of stress also. So he had come to take some time off and take treatment in Bhaktivedanta Hospital. So when he came, I remember I was actually outside the room because it was a very medical issue. So Maharaj was telling the doctors and Bharsana Maharaj was there. And Maharaj said that he made a statement. He said the maximum stress. I think Radhanath Prabhu also probably agree because he is also in the church. So the maximum stress comes from other people's expectations. Is that because they expected to speak, they expected to class, they expected to attend programs, they expected to have prasad, they just have to constantly respond. It's a huge pressure. So Maharaj said, do not ask him to do anything. If he wants to give class, he will give class in the hospital. If he wants to come out and meet, he will meet. And just do not bother. So he was so sensitive, he gave clear guidelines. And I remember because I was outside and overheard this, and then I understood the perspective of stress. That because we are looking from our side, we want, anytime he comes out of the room, we all have to be there. We forget that he may be just wondering, he wants to take time off. Because the minute he comes out, there is completely there. So it's one thing that they see it in there, that actually we are. His sensitivity, I don't think anybody in this home, so many of his disciples have taken initiation. Maharaj has never once asked also, okay, from how many rounds have you chanted? Or have you chanted a round? Never, he never asked. He puts complete trust. That's works on trust. He never asked. He never asked for funds, he never asked for a round. But he gives an example. However tired he is, he will come into the morning program. Even on the earlier days, now also, the one thing he will always do, unless his health is bad, but he will strength because he wants to set an example, but he doesn't, he just inspires people. And it doesn't matter if people are not following or they're following. His relation remains the same. He doesn't, he overlooks. You can see usually otherwise we feel that someone probably expects, he will leave it. I mean, for us, if you want to reciprocate, we can do something more. also his many disciples all over the world. So initially, some of the news was coming that those devotees who born from Radha Gopinath Mandir had a very close connection with Radha Gopinath. So naturally, so like they're staying, say, in Seattle or Chicago or London, wherever. So sometimes some of them would say that, for something, they say, I have to ask my counselor in Mumbai, or I have to do this Mumbai. And Maharaj was very upset. He said, no, this is not the service. You have to completely integrate. If you want to please me, you have to completely integrate into the local thing. I want to hear from the local authorities. It's so nice to know that you are among the best devotees there. And which is what happened in many places. But that is how he was very clear, how he would be in the other place. Imagine if he is the administration head, and they just for smallest things they would even for funds also they say no, I can only give this because I want to give to temple. No, you have gone to overseas, you may give if you want, but you have a loyalty to your local temple and have to be part of it. That's how Prabhupada started this. So that was his sensitivity. And a personal example of his father mentioned, that when I was 13 or 14 years old, so at one time they had gone to a restaurant. So Maharaj's parents were there, grandparents were there, his brothers were there. And by the way, Maharaj, his father, this humor comes from Maharaj's father. Maharaj's father also, if you heard Mrs. Levin, the way he speaks, this used to be so wonderful. He had a very nice way of presenting things, very humorous things. So he would tell us that Radhanath Swami from this young age, smallest age, he never had to sit down. He would just stand and eat. So it is very unusual. He wouldn't like to sit. Similarly, he would like to use his hands. So they used to feel it very odd. So now when they went to the restaurant, they were all seated and he was standing on the table. And suddenly he ran off. Maharaj ran off into the parking lot. So I think his grandfather followed, because he was very fond of him. His grandfather followed and said, what happened? He said that he saw his classmate, because his classmate, there in America, the system is that, in your summer holidays, you take a summer job, and then you get maybe that time 50 cents an hour or whatever, you get something, so you also earn. So he was actually working and serving the tables. So Maharaj was so, he was only 13 years old, but he was so upset. He felt, how can I take service from my friend? He's my friend, he's not a waiter, I can't take it. So then his grandfather consoled him. That's the kind of sensitivity he had from that time. That I can't take service from my friend. You also know how sharp he is. Now the point, the phrase mindfulness and awareness. Maharaj is fully aware at all times, and we've heard, it's never cutting. Sometimes we have a tendency that we make a joke for the sake of making joke, not to make people laugh, or sometimes it may be at someone's expense. In Maharaj's case, when he makes there's a funny situation, it enhances. First of all, his observation sharpness is there, but if it is in a funny way, it actually enhances and it bonds the love even more. You come out feeling so much more happier. Whoever it is, small things like he just noticed something and he speak, and usually he connects in spiritual way in such a way. That recently when he was at a house and my two granddaughters came running there, I've seen them for the last 2-3 years. They're 4 years old, twins. So they were in the night school because it was evening 7 and they were going to sleep. So the minute they came, Maharaj said, this is High Grave and this is Matsya Avatar. I can see for 2 years the same, but then there were some fishes and there were some hawks. So that is, he was not, the second he saw it, then he made a comment. So he's just connecting everything to Krishna. And every day we see the same thing. So Maharaj himself mentioned, when one time he was saying that people are not coming to class, then I can always give class online. Why should I come to Mumbai? We have made that comment because it was getting so crowded. So, especially the senior devotees, then they would hear it online because after this Iskcon Desire Tree and came, so it was, they would say, okay, it's the same thing. And I said, no, I mean, he didn't say you come. He just said, I mean, if you don't want me to come, because there are many places who want me to give class. I'm coming here because I'm coming for you. He said, I put my blood, sweat, and tears in my life and soul into the classes. He said, my association is through the words. My association, even in the Kartika, he said that what I speak is basically I'm associating with you, with each and every one of you individually. And then he made a statement, he said, I remember every person who's sitting where. That really scared us because some people don't know guys sit in the back on a chair and Maharaj is good. But he said, I remember who's sitting where every day. So the thing is that his memory is very sharp. And and also he remembers all his devotees' names and faces. Oftentimes, sometimes some services that we're talking to him, we may mention we forget, we say, Maharaj, he will come up with the name. He's hardly met him after the initiation, but he will. I was told by, I don't remember which servant was at that time, but that Maharaj actually, we have the system that you fill the form, there's a photograph of the person who recommended, etc., and all the background. Maharaj meditates on that when he gives us the name. Now, of course, the names have become so many, so he takes assistance, but initially, he himself gives a lot of thought to it. So he's a very personal person. He's extremely, everything takes it extremely seriously. Every word you speak, he pays attention to it. Like Shidama Sakha Prabhu, one of our devotees, his daughter, long ago, his daughter, she was born premature. She was only 7 months old. So it was a little bit, not critical, but serious because she had to be in incubator for some time. So he came to Maharaj and said, Maharaj, please pray for this. Maharaj said, of course, maybe a month or so later, or some time later, Shidama Sakha Prabhu was walking. Maharaj said, how's Gopika? Maharaj said, she's fine. I mean, he said, she's fine. So you never told me, I've been praying for her. For 1 month. Everything. And Shinaji Prabhu got operated, and he had 4 heart operations, I think. One was a very, very, I would say, serious one. It was an 8-hour operation. And Maharaj was in the hospital. Maharaj, he was in the operation theatre. Maharaj prayed 8 hours, he was standing. So we all experience when devotees are departing. He may not even know that somebody's father, somebody's mother, some devotees, they're not necessarily that they have had personal association. Even if you call him and how much, I don't know how many are associated with them, even if you have 1 or 2 cases like that, we hear from other devotees. He will, apart from chanting for him in the whole Mahamantra or Kirtan on the phone, personally in Kuma, Maharaj will be speaking to him and he sometimes then consciousness, external consciousness also. But the kind of, wherever he is, whatever time, that one thing he will leave everything and he will immediately, if somebody serious, some devotees' parents come, they will always, he will always compare. So the sensitivity goes to, every person, if anybody, wherever he sees, he wants to please them. In between, his health was not good, maybe 10, 15 years ago. So he was under, all the doctors would come and tell him that you're not supposed to eat this, don't eat this, then eat. So I said, okay, then you tell everyone what I'm not supposed to have. So the instructions were given. So once he had gone to, I believe, Belgaum, I think. And then we came to know that, I'm not sure which place, but we went there and then he had all the things which he was not supposed to have. So, and then the devotees would then feel that all the instructions are coming and that means we are making it up. So it's the worst of both worlds because on one hand, they feel that we are making it up because Maharaj is having everything. And then when Maharaj came back, some of the doctors and I was also part of that group when Maharaj said, you are told and we mentioned this. Maharaj said that, see, when that devotee brings prasad in front of me, I just see the love and the care that person is taking. it doesn't matter what happens to my health. It is your duty to see that it doesn't come in front of me. If it comes in front of me, I will mind. If it affects my health also, I will take it. But that was a very sobering thought. That means you are not taking it seriously enough to tell everyone how serious it is that he is not supposed to have this item or that item. But if it comes, then he will say, I will not. And that person has made it with so much love. So you have to take care of it. Once in Prerna festival, somebody asked Maharaj in the question answers. And Maharaj, they say, there's an English saying, behind every successful man is a woman. Who's behind you? Within 1 second, he said, Srimati Radharani. Once, Shiksha Shakam Prabhu, when he was the servant of Maharaj, he was telling the story that once one very, very high-level couple who are very close to Maharaj and very devoted to Maharaj, but they're actually among the richest people in the country today. So they actually came and they wanted to urgently meet him. This is many years ago. They wanted to meet him at 10 o'clock in the night. So then Maharaj said, you must give some prasad. So happened that there was nothing there. So there was no prasad. So they were frantic. And Maharaj told Shishya, go and look. Go and find. He went everywhere. Somehow at that time, I think Palikamata was not there. Wherever he looked, devotees were going to sleep. It was past 10 o'clock. And Maharaj called me, said, go and look at Stoka Krishna Prabhu's drawer. Stoka Krishna Prabhu was a devotee, who no more, a very wonderful devotee. But he loved me, laddus and he used to stuff in his pocket. I remember that. I said, what is it? And he went and he found and there was there. So they could do something. How Maharaj he pays attention to every word that is spoken. Once in a Vyasa Puja, there was a time when there was a book which to be maintained, and then whoever comes to speak has to, we give the offering and it's all bound in a book, and then you come to the mic and then they open the page and you read it from there, whatever you've done. So you may have written 2-3 weeks ago, 1 month ago, but it is now, you read what is there. So, and there was a time also when, remember the offerings were morning till evening. It was kept in the afternoon for some time. So it was a really long period, from 6-7 hours. It was exhausting. So some few days later, when Maharaj was, I think that was the time when he had fractured his foot and he was there. So he said, can you get that book? And he said, this devotee is offering this, look at it. And he started laughing and laughing. I've never seen him laugh so much, even till he became red in his face. He was laughing and laughing. He couldn't control. When he put the newspaper in front of him, he was still laughing. He was, everybody, what is happening? He said, just get it. And what happened was that he turned to that, and then there was one devotee offering, and he was saying that he meant to say that, Maharaj, whatever you speak, there is Amrit. Now, there was this person had written it, but when he came there and when he had to speak what was already in the book. So when you are reading it, it's not easy to then, you don't think, you just have to read. So he read what was there, and what, none of us got it, but what the word that was used was vomit. So it sounded to whatever vomit comes out of mouth. None of us heard it. After this, Maharaj heard it and it was hilarious because it was on him, but so he called for the book and he pointed out. But I'm saying that from the sharpness, it just shows that it is he puts his whole enormous effort and energy to respond. When he talks one-to-one also, he's fully aware every word you speak, everything that is noted. There's nothing that goes off. I have a personal experience which was very chastening. Once he was in Italy and I was, it was probably noon or something, and it was something important I needed to talk to him. So I got a number of a devotee in Italy. So I called that devotee and said that, Maharaj there and it's urgent. So about 3-4 minutes pause, and then Maharaj came on the phone. Then I said what it was. And there was a 10-second pause. And Maharaj said, Prabhu, do you know the difference between urgent and important? I've left a Bhagavatam class and I've come to take your call. I could have fallen down. I was absolutely double-less. Because we use the word urgent. You want someone to do something urgent, and so we just use it loosely. Maharaj, he said, you should know the difference between urgent and important. After that, I tried to remember. So he said, no, this is not urgent. It was not urgent in that sense. He said, urgent is life and death. He said, urgent means it's life and death. Don't, and he left the class. And so that he's very he goes by the nuances, fully attentive to your body language, your words, because we know how he's an extraordinary listener. Listen patiently. I've also seen over the initially he had a lot of time. In the last several years, his time is less. Now, when we have to present something or ask him something, earlier he would, his management style also was, he would have a lot of, like we have a long agenda and hope that we can do this in 1 hour. At first, 40-50 minutes, Maharaj will talk about so many things in general and, this new ideas and this and that, and we are urgent, we are restless. And then say, okay, you had something, and then in 10 minutes, everything is over. And then you find that because he really crystallizes and squeezes the filters out, and then you finish the thing in 10 minutes. And at the same time, in the last 10-15 years, when his time is short, with me, and I've also seen, when others come, 3-4 people are waiting outside, 3 different people are waiting. So he has an amazing knack of, normally what happens if you're in such a situation, you rush things, you say, okay, Prabhu, come, just make it apparent. Maharaj, what he does, because he without interrupting, but he comes to, so, if I'm speaking, giving a background about this, this is the context, etc. Maharaj comes with, okay, you wanted, this is the thing, what about this? So that means he just cuts short and comes down to the essence. So your 3-minute rambling background gets compressed and he just brings to the point. So you realize that actually time is short and don't go into those long history background which you normally would do. So he has a way of coming straight to the point. He's also one way he's got this binding between devotees is in the instructions he's also given. A few times that he's spoken very clearly. He talks about unity, he talks about cooperation. He quotes Prabhupada saying that you can show your love to me by how you cooperate. And that is very, very important for him. So he started also by having a very strong bond between the brahmacharis and the grihastha ashram. And actually, in the initial days, it was not like that because before our student brahmacharis came, the kind of quality of the brahmacharis that time it was there was there were some robberies there, some physical fights also in the 87, 88 period. So Maharaj would tell the grihasthas, okay, these people have sacrificed so much. Because the tendency would be to look at them, they're here just because there's nothing else to do. So he would actually say, how they renounce so much, they could do so much, they can learn so much. And similarly, you tell the brahmacharis also that they can also they can earn more money, they can do this, but they're also doing so. It was a very subtle way of doing it, but his idea was, or the message was always like that the interdependency is very important. You cannot do it on your own. Comes also an individual, also you can't do singly. You have to have a support and group. And even to the doctors, once he defined simplicity very well, because this question came up to him that Maharaj, now this hospital is coming up and we have to, it's going to be very complicated. Maharaj said, no, simple. Simple doesn't mean it should not be effective. Simple doesn't mean that you have to become sophisticated. So he defined, he said, simplicity means not to give the impression of material possessions. The word he uses, I'm not creating the image of materialism. Don't create an image of materialism. But if you have to take the decisions, if you have to have responsibility, he also quoted, he said, if Radha Gopinath Prabhu and Govind Prabhu, he mentioned these words, if Radha Gopinath and Govind Prabhu were to come and say, oh, I can't go to this program, I can't do this. It's not accepted. You don't have it in the ashram also. So you have to take responsibility. So similarly here, If you say that, no, I've got to charge my around, so I can't do this profession, see, that's not thing. So we have to have discipline. His point was that you need to have discipline, but you need to have it in a loving atmosphere, not a military atmosphere. Also, his understanding of psychology, he has given several times he speaks, people, devotees ask him on the marriage to come and speak. So there are some common points always there. And one of the key points he always makes is that, on disagreements, he will say that, don't take it seriously. I've heard this constantly, don't take it's not worth it. This is worth it. Don't take it, it's not worth it. Tries to get the perspective of life. I think the natural issues are there. These are going to be there. And maybe Krishna doesn't want to get too attached also. As long as they have a comfortable relationship, a good relationship, more than that, great. But at least there's a respect, etc. But to take it very seriously and to get your egos clash, he once very humorously put it in Ukraine in one class. He said, what happens is that first the boy and the girl and the devotee, when they meet, they're thinking that, oh, this girl is this Brahma has made her for me. And she's just right, We will have such a nice Krishna conscious night. We'll have milk in the night and go to sleep. She'll press my feet and Maharaj said that. It's like a spiritual world. And the girl is thinking that Vishnu has sent him only for me. And we'll have such a wonderful night. He said, but they forgot that they brought also their false egos in the picture. So he said that, so these are the things which we constantly, so his instructions also very, on relationships and very practical. A person who has never got married, doesn't have children, how does he understand that? It's because I believe his awareness, his understanding of psychology, he's observed so much, and of course his purity, Krishna speaks to him. But these are the things which he constantly brings, and when he starts doing that, and people, devotees do get the message that we have to make some attempt. And his compassion, the millions of examples are there. There are just a few, like once in Radhakund, after a whole day's parikrama, and there were some maybe 15-20 buses ready to go. And in one couple, their 14-year-old boy was missing. So we had just come up from Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj's Samadhi and we were going to the bus, Maharaj had gone ahead. And so said, okay, some devotees will go back and see. When Maharaj heard, he said, all the buses should go. And he personally came out and he went back and said, Radhakund. And 15 minutes with some group of devotees. And he knew the boy must have got somebody lost and forgot to come to his parents. But that was the thing, spontaneously, immediately left and he went to search for it. Even 10 years ago, if you remember that there was a Nepal air crash and 8 of our beloved devotees died in that crash. It was very painful. He dropped everything and immediately he had just gone back. It was January, he came all the way to Mumbai because he knew how critical, everyone was shattered and particularly 2-3 families were, one family, both the boys were, the only 2 boys, they were no more. In one family, the son and the parents were no more. Only the 2 girls were left. And the girl, I remember she was 19 or 20 and she spoke to Maharaj, she was crying for hours. Maharaj spent a couple of hours on the phone, just imagine from Mumbai to New York. And then he immediately decided to come. So at his own personal inconvenience also he doesn't look at it. If it is something which he needs to do, and in such moments, he just takes the immediate decision. And it was such a relief when he came here, because people were completely, devastated. 8 at a time. It was really, and these are all close devotees, all of them. One whole pair, father, mother, and girl. And she was such a lovable girl. Everybody just loved her. He's 14, 15 years old. So it was shattering. This is leadership. And this is also his compassion, this is his sensitivity. But his understanding of psychology also when he has to do it. Even with his godmothers, in between he was coming less to Mumbai partly because of his book, but also for many years he's been spending time he made it a mission that he was actually trying to go to many of his brothers who were not so active now. So he would personally go to them, like he met Yamuna Mataji's sister, and Maharaj was the only one, Janki, or the first Mataji in the whole movement, into Maharaj's earlier partner. And she's still on the planet, but she has some health issues. But at that time, she only was telling Maharaj's class because she wanted to, her spiritual consciousness to revive. And so Maharaj made a lot of efforts to go to various people who were not, for whatever reasons, so much visible. Personally going to the places and crisscrossing in the US all the time. Dwarkadish Prabhu mentioned this many times that because he was personally treating, there was one particular incident where it was another Gopinath temple. Maharaj had to give the class at 9:30 and he was urgently called. He used to take care of Maharaj being a physician. So, and Maharaj could not even lift his hand. He was practically fainting. And in 5 minutes he had to give class. So obviously Dr. Shah said that there's no way you can give class, you announce it and prescribe medicine and all that. Maharaj said no, so many people have come, I have to give the class. And then he sat in class and it was like as if somebody else had put another person there. It was like completely, where did the energy come from? Where it was just like a lion. So of course after that he was completely collapsed after that. So when Maharaj had focus, his determination, everything, just when he has to fulfill what he has given, and because he didn't want to affect people's hearts, so many people were assembled. Nobody knew what happened. He came from the Dwarkadish was saying he couldn't even get up from bed. He was so weak. So that is his concern for devotees and not just on a superhuman level, but he sees that it is critical for them. He sees that is sustaining their spirit, Krishna consciousness, that is inspiring them to take it more seriously, at least face each one's struggles. And in GEV, many of you may have come there. That memorial is a very unique Vaishnava memorial that he has set up. All the departed souls in the Iskcon movement, if you come there, it is a very, just behind Radhakol in Shampur, on the Lilananda forest. So, like any devotee passes away, his photo is there now. So, we have so many of our Mumbai or other places also, and then all over the world, all the devotees. So, and it's so wonderful to see and so inspiring because you see, Bhakti Maharaj's godbrother was also there. And then you see George Harrison also there. On one side, there's two different worlds. But in the essence, they were all starting from Krishna consciousness. So this is again his concern for how much he would love to inspire people. His humility, we know how humble he is, but if you hear him speak, he doesn't say that I'm going to my room. He has a room there in the temple. He says, they've given me a room. This is the way he speaks, they've given me a room. They means they're all his disciples or administration. He never says his mind. He's so conscious of that. They've given me a room. Or have you ever heard him say, my disciples, your godbrothers or your god sister, she's done this or she's done that. He always said that. His choice of words also in a normal way, it is not mine. It is like, your godbrother. The same thing as him. People say, my disciple. I've never heard him say this, my disciple. When we had to rejoin, or when we had the opportunity to rejoin Iskcon, it was such humility of his that he assembled everybody in the temple hall, and then he said, "This is the proposal." Devotees have come forward. Lilananda Maharaj and others have come and said, "We can join Iskcon. What do you feel?" He didn't have to ask us. I mean, we had completely. As I told you, we have no understanding of etiquette, and we just were doing what he was saying. But he was asking everyone what they felt, and everybody was very keen, happy after hearing it. One question was that, Maharaj, we have been following you only all these years. Suddenly now we're going to a huge, big organization, and there's so many 35 members in GBC, and we will, now we kind of lost in that. And Maharaj said something amazing. He said, actually, I embrace that. So it is a very good system where, how do you know I'm right? This is a word he used that time. How do you know I'm right? Now, this was 1993, and of course, that is his humility, but at least you have, the Guru Sadhu Shastra principle, when you are part of the. So I actually embrace the system, so you should not worry about it. His faith in Prabhupada was one example where he was talking to God brothers, and I was not there, but I heard that from others. And they were discussing, and what if Prabhupada had not come? What would have happened to us? So each one was speaking different. And when Maharaj's turn came, said, what would be the situation if Prabhupada was not there? He just said one word, he said dead. So I would be dead. He's very serious about it. And I can't even imagine. I would be dead if Prabhupada was not there. So basically, I'd like to summarize some of many things, but I think if anyone has room for questions or comments, that's fine. But I would say that, he has tolerated so much of our insensibilities also. Some of which we notice, some of which we don't. But we should know that there are many means we may not intend to, of course, we would not want to hurt them. But because of our ignorance, our clumsiness, our self-centeredness, we may do so many things. He just has been tolerating so many years. I give one example that, for 6-7 years, we didn't even know any etiquette. And like in Pune Yatra, we started from 1986. Right? So it was building up. So we used to stay in the bungalow. So we used to put him in the same room. There were 20 people in the room, including Maharaj. And then for 6 years, now you think we get nightmares. So he was in one corner, and then 19 others. And going to the room. And Maharaj would comment about it next day. So we were all joking about such ignorance, How many cities are Guru? And he accepted it, not for 6 months, 6 years, till 94. Then we realized, he needs a room. He didn't put it. So it was just that part of 20 people, because they had to cram everyone in the room. He would be just one side of the room. That was the thing. So he has tolerated so much of us, and he wouldn't consider tolerating. He just absorbed it because of his love and his desire to infuse us. So the only best way we can reciprocate is to really see what does he want of us, what can we do to improve our spiritual life. Any improvement we do, anything we take seriously, we don't have to show him or write to him, just in our own way, because through the super soul, Guru will know what we are, he connects with us. So if we become a little bit more serious in our spiritual life, or become in our relationship, a little bit kinder, if we are more angry, we reduce our anger. If we are maybe harsh with our family, we become a little more responsive, or with our neighbors. So many things that we can do. So if we can introspect and improve, I believe that would be the best way we can try to reciprocate with him, which is an impossibility, but Krishna sees the struggle, and Krishna sees our effort, and that would be the best way we can pay tribute on this very auspicious day of his appearance. So, any questions or particular incidents or any comments? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very valuable to see. I had one question to you. I heard that Maharaj has given many nice instructions to you and your good wife, very early days, while making a conscious on what are his expectations from his Grahastha devotees. Now, here in our Hyderabad, many of the Grahasthas come on Sunday for a training program. This whole building are like 1,000 people on Sunday here. Different groups, classrooms. So they have courses going on, like Vanti Shastri and foundation course and all that. Apart from that, during the week, like between Monday to Saturday, you as a leader of the Grahasthas in Chapati and the inspiration you taken from Maharaj, What would you tell this devotees? How Maharaj, what are his expectations from us in the course of the week, so that many of the devotees would like to learn that from you because you have been personally tutored by Maharaj in chapter.
The consular system was primarily so that Maharaj, when the congregation was growing, he obviously could not give the personal attention which he was giving, which everyone wanted. So through his instructions and through his examples and stories, the smaller groups, counseling groups, could get the personal attention. So the idea was to have maybe 30, 40, 50 people, 20, 30 families, some maybe more or less, but it's easier to manage and you have devotees who are sharing the experience. So Maharaj, we made many missteps also because um, our understanding was also not so clear. So what has come out now is that Maharaj said that you are like an elder brother. You are like an elder brother or an elder sister. You are not someone who comes in between the guru and because it was slowly coming. Sometimes the new devotee comes and they're paying obeisances to the counselor and then to the asa and the no, they're the older brothers. Yes, they have experience. They're sharing what the issues are. We have respect for them, of course. So the counselor also should be looking at that, his concern is very much what he and his wife can help. Number two, in terms of etiquette, Maharaj was very clear that, he would guide us that as it's growing and now different ages also come. So it's preferable, but not, there will be exceptions. It's preferable if, the wives are, the council is also preached by the Mataji, there is the Mataji council. However, sometimes it can be the counselor is a widower, or other, and so and then there may be some special some situations where he needs to then you get some other Mataji or Prabhuji also together. So this is for general etiquette that we need to establish an example. He also said that the counselors should look at it as an insurance policy. Insurance, when we take an insurance means we said if there are problems, we financial problems, we have something with us. So not that you have to question every time, and sometimes we say, bro, we never came last Sunday. What happened? In group, you have a problem. That's the worst thing one will say because if the person has not come for last 3 Sundays, for instance, in the temple, he obviously the chances are that either he's traveling or if he has some problem, the worst thing you can say is that and hurt his ego, and then the little bit of thread that is connecting him to the temple will also stand. So in a discussion, what came out is Maharaj said we should just encourage them and don't look at the negatives, just look at the positive, and then slowly come around it. So make sure that they feel that you are there when they need you. That's very important. At any time, whether it's by call or by person. And of course, you have your regular meetings, and then if there are some special issues, there are special discussions or talks in the temple, in the home, wherever. But otherwise, don't try to control them. That was one thing he said because enthusiasm we may try to control them. These are adults. Now most of them have spent 20, 25 years also. Many of them have spent 20 years. So saying you can't be controlling them on whether child's education should be. No, they have to take a role. If they ask you, you can give a guidance. But you can't go into the details, especially if they're not asked. And if they ask also, put it to them that this is these are options and this my view would be this is possible, you can think of it. So give it as so it should be something where you're giving them association, giving them a complete assurance that anytime they have a problem or crisis of any sort, either between them or a family issue, financial issue, social issue, health issue, something comes up, there's sometimes there's somebody is just lost his job or they have to leave the city and then they have to plan for it. So they need guidance and they are always available. So you have to build a relationship where they feel comfortable. But it's not that you have to sit on that. That's all the point.
Maybe you just ask question to go.
Roji, as the person progresses in Krishna consciousness, he or she finds his own niche or perception about spirituality and how he wants to present for the people. And we see in Chopati there are different kind of devotees who have different perception of spirituality, and usually we see people are not so welcoming about. We see in Chopati the different people are like it's like fruit salad, like people are different flavors, but yet they are very much confined to it. So, and I keep hearing that it is only Radhanath Maharaj's magnanimity that he is able to bind everyone together. So, in your experience within the last couple of decades, what exactly his view in this situation, like combining different folds?
Very good question. And it's quite relevant, I would say. I had many discussions on this the last 4 or 5 years also. I wouldn't say different perception of spirituality. I would put because if it is a different perception of spirituality, because ultimately the commonality is we are part of Iskcon, we are part of Prabhupada. There are certain basic things which are fundamental, otherwise you are not there. But what I think what you mean is that now a lot of devotees have their own creativity, their own independence of how to present it. And so it's amazing hearing from him because sometimes I used to get agitated that how to this is this is happening, that is happening. So Maharaj made very simple. He said basically there's a difference between non-cooperating. Some things that if they're not cooperating with authority, that is not to be accepted. He's very clear. If they don't, then they can stay somewhere. They can go to Pune, they can go to Nigiri, they can go to Vrindavan. That's fine. If they don't cooperate, but if they cooperate on the broader level. Otherwise, even to the extent that no, he must come in the morning program. I thought, no, Brahmacharya. Mother said, no, I mean, they're not 20 years in the movement, they decide. So, that flexibility, even in the preaching. So, I mean, we've not had any cases where they're preaching outside the philosophy, but the style is maybe different. There are some people where the Brahmacharis of this whole South Mumbai, which is a very affluent part. So 4 or 5 devotees are Brahmacharis also over there. So there were internal discussions. So there were signs or devotees, there were worries rather. Maharaj gave very clear understanding, not directly, but himself the leadership council and the temple council and look for these things. So what you can't accept or what should be not acceptable or what we shake the foundation will be non-cooperation, arrogance, defiance, that should not be. But otherwise, acknowledge their seniority, give them the space that they need, and what is expected from them is that clearly there would be some cooperation. They can't be completely like. And then generally there's a link with some senior. I'm talking about the ashram. So they generally have a link with at least one of the senior brahmacharis. So it can't be that there is no link, but that link doesn't mean it's a personal thing. How they link. So there are any issues or anything to be channelized. So that has not that it's a very large large institution, but Maharaj is quite liberal in that way because he really sees that the flavors of preaching could be different styles, but not in content, and certainly not that slowly somebody is replacing or gradually becoming a personality cult. Those things that would not be there. So the philosophy and all that is there. But then some are more adept in one way, some are more adept in another way, which he says that you can allow. That's my understanding from hearing. Radhisham also must have heard from Maharaj. Teaching him.
Hare Krishna.
When I asked Maharaj questions about some of those preachers taking innovative approaches, one personally told me that, see, they are rising in the morning, chanting 16 rounds, following 400 principles, and they personally report to me, and they take my permission for doing such kinds of innovative type of teaching, and they are bringing certain people into the movement who would otherwise not want to come to Iskcon at all. So that way they are contributing to the society also. And they are increasing the goodwill of Iskcon. This is the way Krishna has. So he said that we can either some order and remove them, or we can accommodate them. So, and they will totally go tangentially away, and we can't let it. As you rightly said, he has a very big heart, accommodate great diversity. I had one similar question to you. Do you find that sometimes those who have families and everything, they become devotees and they like the counselor part. Here we call it as a Bhakti Vichar called here. Same as counseling only. So they like the counseling, they like the socializing, they like yatras, they like to be connected to devotees, they chat, they talk about it. But spiritually, they seem to be not so serious. They are not taking proper courses regularly and they are not really going for examinations. This is not developing them in spiritual life. And even sometimes people have ladies at home, they just give the children worship and not worship also. So if anybody becomes very slack in spiritual life, but very satisfied in what you call it, social support. So that aspect is very dangerous because that also is contagious. What would you say about that? Somebody in Pune also now,
Yeah.
here also. Because I'm following Maharaj's footsteps, I'm also pretty lenient. You know, before this in this temple, there have been very strict attendance and everything. So, lenience is good, people are happy, but sometimes people go to the other extreme.
So now, because we have maybe 7,000-8,000 just in the council system, and council system is also not the only you can say system because like the South Mumbai, they have close relation with the many of the brahmacharis. There are several hundreds of them, and they are not formally under any council. This yet. Maybe at some point they may come. And also because there has to be cultural, those people, they're not accepting it. So we have a lot of things. So our understanding is that we need to be vigilant and see what, where the issues are with the devotees. But the best is that we can try to inspire them. Like what I try to do is, I don't talk to the counseling on that basis, but from the last 12, 13 years, every single meeting, I have a record of who's attended, who's not attended. It's a sense. I have, when I look at perspective, I say 12 months, somebody is kind just 5% attendance. And no apparent reason. Because there are some who are very committed and they are doing services and also they're fine. It's not that it's only service. Basically, what we're looking at is they are in Krishna consciousness because they have either service or they are engaged somewhere or the other, in temple or outside the temple. So that is how, so we need to, if we find that there is someone who's, so then we have to find ways who's close to him or her and how we can get to him. So it will become a customized individual approach. Maybe go to their home and see what things we can do. But we need to make sure that whatever the thin thread is connecting, the last thing is to scrap it. Because the mindset is such that they would be just needing one incident and say, that I put it on you and say, that's why I don't want to come. So yes, it's a issue because it's very large, very difficult to have and people may be, but at the same time, what we find is some people, like some have been connected to the deity worship at home, not coming so much to temple. But some people may not be having deity worship at photos. But at least if they can engage in some services, like in marathon, a lot of people get, they either supply their vehicle or they supply prasad or they come to the at least. So, or they go to Barsana camp, 250 devotees go there. So, somewhere you need to see that they have got some connection. If there's no connection, definitely it's a risk. And if they're not coming to the temple. So, we need to judge each one on because some Matajis, they will not be very philosophically inclined. And some people, even men also, especially the older ones. So, like, I mean, now it's difficult for them to read, and so when we give tests, it's okay, we just take oral tests. As long as you know the philosophy.
This is regarding how to balance material life and spirit. For example, in Vyasa, they got a lot of social commitments. So what happens is, in order to be in the society, there are so many functions. So they have to attend, and they won't be very Krishna Prasad 100%. So in such situation, either we avoid it, or we go and entertain them. How to do this?
We need to be clear as to if it's something that we want to do or whether we have to do. Because there are situations if it is that we need to, we have to, either because of profession or social. Let's say your sister's getting married and you have to go and attend the marriage. No, you can't say I'll bring my ticket from home. I mean, there are, I think then once I clear that we have to go somewhere. I have done dinner also sometimes, maybe 2-3 times a year, 4 times in a hotel. Because our clients are there. So we generally try to bring them to the office because we have a small kitchen place, everybody cooks it. But sometimes, they get invited. So question is, do we need to, do I want to do it or am I have to do it? That is the $1 million question. And that's something which we need to be clear because we can justify it in many ways. Any activity, like, wedding, social, etc. But otherwise, oftentimes what happens is that by taking a very narrow stand, you may put off a lot of people by saying that not too much social obligation. So it may not cost much to just make your appearance and go. And you can, as far as prasad is concerned, you can avoid it. That's very often, especially the large function. Or just take one thing and it's okay. But attending, they want to show a face and you can leave. So if your desire is to minimize it, but you have to do it, then Krishna will give you a way. Many ways you can do it.
Hare Krishna, thank you for such wonderful narration. It was very nectarine to hear so many wonderful personal interactions of Maharaj. I had this question regarding Vapu and Vani association with spiritual master. We very clearly hear how Vani association is what is important because Vapu association is limited. And that's how the examples of Srila Prabhupada is given and also Radhanath Swami Maharaj's personal example is also given. When we hear about devotees having personal interactions with their Guru and how those particular Vapu association is sustaining their spiritual lives. So many times devotees mention this particular interaction I always cherish in my heart and how my Guru reciprocated with me. So those devotees who are not having this Vapu association, they might see this as a limitation in their spiritual life. So they had it, I don't have it. So at least as a conditioned soul, I see that there is need for this reciprocation because you need certain exchanges with the Guru. So through Vani, you are not able to really internalize the relationship with the spiritual master. So with this in context, really how do those devotees who didn't have active Vapu association were able to create a very deep relationship with spiritual master? And do we see the relationship we have with our senior Vaishnavas who are actually representing the Guru as the reciprocation of the spiritual master?
His Holiness Lilananda Maharaj, I think all know him, we love him. He's Srila Prabhupada's disciple. He's never met Prabhupada in his life. He got initiation by post. President, that was quite common. Vani is the most important, no doubt. Now, as far as Vapu is concerned, yes, I can put the other risk factors, that oftentimes we may, including me, we get into a more, those were the days we were having so much association, and now Maharaj should play, we should have more time with him, or we have, if we live in the past, then we have missed the point. We have not taken, yes, we were fortunate, it was mystical. If we don't take that and go ahead, then all that is wasted. He's given so much time, not to so that you can kind of put a label and say, I was there, I was there, I was there. No. I remember an example once, this Mahaprabhu Prabhu in our councilor's meeting, was saying initially, like he was saying what most of us were feeling long ago, maybe 15 years ago, that Maharaj should be having separate meeting of councilors and why is he not doing all that. And I remember Govind Prabhu was there and he got up and he chastised. He actually, he's so, he can be very blunt. And he gave the example of Pune. He said, so many of Radhanath Swami's disciples are in Pune. For 5 years they have not met him personally. They are building this fantastic temple. And they are getting so inspired. And you people, he said, you are so spoiled. You are getting spoon-fed. So actually it comes both ways. That if everything is, Vapu can be a double-edged sword. If you are not taken the full advantage, and in fact, Prabhupada's time also, many of them very close to him, is living in the past and they are not taking the full. So, the way the situation is, if we got a chance, we have to say that, well, after having given this chance, I feel that myself personally that, that I know, it's not a modesty, I know, there's so many weaknesses, attachments are there. I said, how much time is given, how much affection is given, and still we're not able to release, that, so there has to be a struggle between that. So trying to say, okay, we can do something in future. And those who have not got, and those who have come in the time and they have just, heard him and not getting so often a chance. We have to remember what Radhanath Maharaj said this on more than one occasion that I'm associating with each and every one of you. He wants people to come to the yatra. He in fact was saying that those who cannot afford it, he said we have been, that finance should not be an issue. Everyone should come if they're serious and keen. He said I associate each and every one of you with through my classes. So we may think that he's sitting there giving a 2-3 hour talk and he's facing 8,000-9,000 people. I'm just sitting in a corner. But it's a matter of our consciousness. If we were to take it in the spirit which he's told us, or trying to, then actually this is meant for me, the instruction is meant for me, the words are meant for me, and I'm really paying attention to it. And I'm, if I'm not feeling enthused, at least I should act enthusiastic so that I can make, that would be the key. So I want to say that Vapu, we missed out, means we missed something important. If it was there, that was great, no doubt about it. But that was the situation of the time. Now we have a chance to see that he is, in essence, through his instructions and his words, and he's there. And we have to have faith that he is actually connecting, our connection through the super soul. He knows everything. As Gaurang Darshan Prabhu gave this very wonderful explanation, which I have completely taken to heart. That he heard from Maharaj, and Maharaj was saying that somebody asked the same question, that Maharaj, how do I know that you may be in Vedic and I am doing it? How do you know what a disciple is? You have to have faith that through the super soul, Krishna will arrange that the Guru knows, the Guru is connected to you. So you may not know which the channel is, how it is happening. But that faith is there, that's fine. Because otherwise we'll be looking for a signal or an appreciation. Then the question is, are we doing it only to please him, to catch his attention? That's not the, then we are going into a whole different. So we are convinced, we are grateful, we are very blessed, so deeply grateful that we got this opportunity and how we get in contact with him. Now if I get a chance, wonderful, there's no doubt about it. And now maybe hopefully he wants to spend more time in India. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't mean we missed out because he is very much there. So I would say those who not got, it's not like those who got, they were fortunate, but it will be greater misfortune if they're not taken, if you don't take that and go ahead. But Radhesham Prabhu initially representing like all of us in that time, if you were to see, measure how much time he used to spend 6 months a year. Because he was putting so much time. And now, in terms of it's just a fraction. But it shouldn't matter because he is there in the services that we're doing. Ultimately, we're doing the service to please him. We're doing the service to please him. Right? That's the motivation we have. We enthuse because we know it is because it's pleasing Prabhupada. And his whole life is whatever pleasing Prabhupada is will please me.
Hare Krishna. Any Master Krishna questions? No question, Master Krishna?
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for a wonderful stream of nectar which was coming from you and various pastimes of Maharaj and teachings of Maharaj. One particular thing I was wanting to know that just like you quoted two examples of Maharaj meditation on always trying to please Srila Prabhupada moments marriage and second was yet you are thinking that I should please the people who have come to Prabhupada's movement. So similarly, would you please share some of the examples from the Chapati congregation devotees, those who had this spirit, that let us please our spiritual master. So could you give some examples that they had meditated on this and their life, how did they act upon this particular principle that it will please my spiritual master? So they definitely might have to also go through some sacrifices, some difficulties, some hardships in order to actually keep this principle alive, then let me please my spiritual master. If you can please give some examples.
Literally hundreds examples because lots of devotees have been doing that regularly. See, let's say in the ashram, I won't go into names, but many brothers, Maharaj made a rule that before you join, it's compulsory that you have to work outside. Now, many of them came with the mindset that they would like to join because that is the way they are going to inspire, they want to dedicate their full life. In spite of that, they had to work outside for 6 months in an environment which was very, very difficult, very challenging. Bhakti Swami Maharaj, I remember he was in Calcutta, he got inspired in 1889. He was the manager, one of the youngest managers in Standard Chartered Bank. He wanted to come to Mumbai at any cost because he wanted to be close to Radha Gopinath Mandir. And he joined the company for 6 months. He was staying in the temple and then working outside in Shipping Corporation at Diamond Point for 6 months. And then, so every day he would go there and then come back from Diamond Point and stay in the temple. And eventually that he also dropped. But he did that 6 months also partly, he was convinced in his heart. But Maharaj also told him that do it because his father was a very influential commissioner of income tax, etc. So Maharaj wanted him to also be able to answer and tell him, why he's so convinced about joining. So it must have been a great austerity, I think. All our great devotees, they had to work outside. Prabhuji was in Kirloskar, or mother in fact. Mother. Can you imagine Radhesha Prabhu in a multinational function? But they had to, Maharaj, isn't it the rule? You have to, so that the conviction is there that this is what I really want. I think that's what I can think of, which was a very challenging situation, I'm sure. Then if you go to individual cases, I think then maybe some other time.
Very interesting points to the devotees of Krishna consciousness.
Example, you asked, Krishna Guru himself is a good example for that. When Radha Maharaj started the Chapati temple, the Chapati temple got the hospital, Gopal's garden, all these, monumental activities that Maharaj started, every one of them had bottlenecks. And not ordinary bottlenecks, very, very difficult. There was a time when Bhaktivinoda Hospital was about to close. At one time there was a crisis. Similar to Gopal's garden, Prabhu took the whole church of Gopal's garden, bringing money and several occasions were there. The congregation felt that we need to run any further. So one thing that we all are observed is his wife actually is the main person for the lady department also. So they have put a sweat and toil in offsetting the problems and making the community move ahead. Similarly, the Govardhan village now. Many of us go to the Govardhan village and have a very nice time for 2 days, 3 days and come. But little do we know about the huge amount of money that goes into it. Actually, making a small capital running like easy, but farm is a very difficult thing. It's 120-acre farm. So Krishna Prabhu has always been by Maharaj's side, whether it is financial related thing or whether it is some complex situation in the congregation. Sometimes there are even clashes between leaders. Sometimes the marriages are about to break. Maharaj immediately called this couple only. So the question was a very good question. When the situations are very tough and impossible to overcome, the only love for the spiritual master is the sustaining energy that by which they have persisted, and that's how the community has become significant.
When Radhanath Prabhu was talking about Maharaj, he mentioned one particular quality of Maharaj. He said that how Maharaj, his humility that whatever spoken about him, he just turn it to someone else. Where that quality is coming. Completely, he gives this googly and turns the ball. Like this, I can't think we anywhere near, they have a full family, you have everything, all facilities. But one thing I remembered, I would like to, sorry for answer the question. This was a very important lesson for us in the hospital. We started in 98, but in 2003 or 4, there was this major labor crisis. A small group they tried to bring in. Actually, there was the Gunda union leaders who were professionals. In fact, he actually was a minister in the NCP even till now. But now that Sharad Pawar's group is not there, but he was actually a minister. So he was the head of the union. So they wanted to. We had an internal union with our workers. So it was a very serious matter. Then there was a lot of violence, and one devotee was stabbed also, and then we had to have a lockout. So the lockout lasted for about 15, 17 months. So when we were talking to Maharaj, Maharaj said, the people looking at it from a point of view that, when we start, we should have maybe 50 beds. What will be the cost? What will be the income? What will be, how we restart? All the material. Maharaj made a bombshell. He said, the root problem is that we have actually deviated from our original spiritual principle. It was a shock. If you ask any of the doctors, it was a complete, nobody even thought of that. We had, it was only 15, 17 months, and we are now thinking of restarting because we had actually won that issue with on the union part. And Maharaj brings up something we felt there was no connection. But he said, no, the real problem is, but what he meant is we had got so much into the administration of the hospital that the core principles of preaching and how we create a spiritual atmosphere, there was, but it wasn't the way it should be. He said the only way is that the best person, the most important person has become the spiritual director. Not the next would be the director of the hospital. But the spiritual director has to be the most important. And that's how Radhanath Prabhu volunteered to become the spiritual. So it was a complete, I don't think anybody even thought, and we are not in, this issue was not even present because it's closed and all that. And he said, no, this is your problem. And really, when we started with the emphasis now on how we create a culture how we had so many various programs, and then now we have a 25 people, 25 devotee department, only spiritual care. And they have a whole set of things they do. But that started from that. So I'm just saying that you can call it vision, you can call it this deep understanding of where we are not connecting with to Prabhupada, where his murti is there, everything is there, chanting was there, but something was missing, and he felt that we were getting too much into the suit and boot and the professional part only, which is necessary, but it has to be subservient to the spiritualness. It's an extraordinary hard part. Sorry, ma'am.
Hare Krishna Guruji Dhanavad Pranam. We are going very important points. Pertaining to the doctors, I am a doctor at the age of 83, but I have experience of material life in 83 years, but spiritual knowledge is 50 years. During this time, I have observed you have mentioned here, sensitivity and the tolerance are very important. During my service in the government service in the AP, I have served in the program of leprosy. During my time, usually, total 4 lakhs to 50 lakhs leprosy patients have been cured and saved their lives. But at that time, I was very young doctor in the AP. But as you said about the doctor, what I have observed also, though I am observing the tolerance and sensitivity, other junior doctors are not at all really, but they need these points what you have mentioned here, if they are here. Otherwise, we will educate the other senior doctors also to serve better. Because you know very well, the leprosy patients means to socially neglected and deformed people. Nobody used to come those days at the time of Indira Gandhi because of the program was taken very importance. We could have an opportunity. Now, as a doctor, I had this opportunity to do some service after my retirement. And in addition to that, my family members also, nearly 10 members are in Krishna consciousness. I am also very much proud of this, and they will also raise their service as they have taken this Krishna consciousness, and this is a message to the other people also who are here. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, Prabhuji. Now it's time to we'll have a Guru Puja. We request all the devotees to come to place. Flower will come to you, and then you don't have to come to here and put the flower. There will be devotee who will come to you with a basket where you put the flower. Don't come here near to Maharaj and throw the flowers because there are bhogas are being offered that will be filled with flowers. Now, sir, behind is coming to you, so please don't panic, just be there at your place. We need some volunteers. Can you just go take the flowers basket and get the flowers? Take some food. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते राधानाथ स्वामी इति नामिने ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजेर्जातं सगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादा सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशकारिणे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्ता सरस्वती इति नामिने श्रीवासवानवी देवी दयिताय कृपाद्वये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दायिने प्रभवे नमः। माधुर्य प्रेमाढ्या श्रीरूपानुगभक्तिदा श्री गौर करुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनतारिणे रूपानुगविरुद्धा सिद्धान्त ध्वान्तहारिणे नमो गौर किशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये प्रलम्बर साम्भोरे भागाम्बुजाय ते नमः। नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानन्द नामिने गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय परायते गौराविभाव भूमेस्त्वं निर्दिष्टा सज्जन प्रियः वैष्णव सार्वभौमा श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च नानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णं प्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौराकृते नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतार भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम् हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपीशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांत नमस्तुते जयतां श्रुतो पंगो सर्वस्वापदाम्भोजो राधा मदन मोहनो श्रीमद्रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थो श्रीमद् राधा शील गोविंद देव सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमान् रासरसारम्भे वंशीवटा तटस्थितः आश्रमेणो स्वनिर्गोपी गोपीनाथ श्रियस्तु नः कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुस्ते देवी नमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे Pushpanjali. Hand only Prabhu is doing it. You can put in. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Radhanath Swami iti namine Pushpanjali. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Radhanath Swami iti namine. Esa Pushpanjali. Ijana Swami Maharaj 15th Puja Mahamotsav ki. Srila Prabhupada ki. Now the Aarti. All of you can read. Mothers can please move little behind. We have Aarti there.
Jaya Radhanath Maharaj, Jaya Radhanath Maharaj, Radhanath Maharaj, Jaya Radhanath Maharaj. Shri Guru Charana